Students, I am here to present you with your final task. I am here to show you one of the greatest mystical beings in the whole wide world would ever achieve to witness. This being could be known as the apex predator. Some known it as the king of all beasts. You thought a lion, you thought the size of a whale, you thought giants. But no, this is Dragon. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be coming over dragons. We'll be covering dragons today. Hello, students. My name is Professor Void. This whole month we have been covering mythical beasts. And this week we will be giving out the knowledge of dragons. All right. I hope you all had a fantastic start to your day. Hello, happy Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on what day you're watching. Everyone who is watching this live right now, go check out the Twitch. Go have fun there with interactive chats and emotes all day, every day. Mr. Positive. We'll be covering much more. You may call me, in preparation for this week's learning, you may call me Dungeon Master Void. That is right. Stick around and learn about the beast, for I have prepared an event coming this Thursday. Players that I have assembled, students, I will present you a tale where likely children be facing off monsters, beasts in mythological. been learning more and more of what this is called. It's been known as the one shot. And this one shot is contained and will be played in the game known as D&D. Right, yes. There's much to what's going to be happening this week, but be prepared. But for now, prior to the event, we only have so much time. We must learn about this beast, this apex predator, this of death and destruction. Mr. Positive, what do you mean by virgins? Sorry, this is one of our fans from YouTube. By the way, we're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube right now. If you want to be part of the interactive chat, go ahead and check out Twitch. But virgins? What? Never mind that. Back to the lesson of dragons. Oh. Frankly, I do not know. That is what we're going to learn. I'll write that down for actually one of the questions we will cover tomorrow. Actually, no, Wednesday. Right now, of course, everyone that doesn't know, we have switched up schedules and stuff. All right, we're gonna be streaming on YouTube and Twitch. Dun, dun, dun. We will be streaming on YouTube and Twitch Monday, 7 p.m. Well, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. For Thursday's event, we will be streaming late. Be a 4-hour session that I have planned. Still working out the stories and kinks and stuff like that, but the characters I have figured out. Yes, Tyler. We're going to be talking about dragons. And if I hear one joke about someone's nuts dragging somewhere on something that seems inappropriate, we'll cut this whole thing down. All right, yeah, I'm hip. I get it. I get all the jokes. You ain't gonna get me today. All right, what the kids say? You're fucking with the real one. Yeah. There we go, Tyler. Good. Back to the lesson. Let's get right to it. So, of course, we're going to be starting off with the basics. Dragon. Look at this beauty. Look at its nose. Oh, does it have like eyeballs on its wings? Holy shit. Oh shit. Let's see here, students. There's many different depictions on actual specific types of dragons. I wonder. Oh, cool. All right, that's just, sorry. I was looking at something and I just realized I might be able to actually show both chats or whatever. But all right, students, hold up. I need to tweet out that we are live. this week. Last week of Mythical May. We're talking about... if I can spell about... dragons! Yeah. Twitch.tv/ hold up. There we go, students. I'm glad that you're all here. I hope you're all having a great start to your week. I hope everything's been going well. How's everyone's Monday going, huh? Let's see here. There we go. Put a nice little Giphy in there too. Dragon. Yeah. Sweet. Alrighty. There you go, y'all. Oh, what? Ew. Go ahead and spread the news. Or hold up. What? There we go. By the way, follow me on Twitter. Alrighty. Good stuff. So, to start us off, we'll be covering the basics of dragons today. There we go. Now, the dragon is a large serpent, legendary creature that appears in the folklore of many cultures worldwide. Beliefs about dragons vary considerably through region, but dragons in Western cultures since the High Middle Ages have often been depicted as winged, horned, four-legged, and capable of breathing fire. Dragons in Eastern cultures are usually depicted as wingless, four-legged serpents, creatures with above-average intelligence. Clever. The earliest attested reports of draconic creatures resemble giant snakes. Draconic creatures are first described in mythologies of the ancient Near East and appear in the ancient Mesopotamian art and literature. You see, stories about storm gods slaying giant serpents occur throughout nearly all Indo-European and Near Eastern mythologies. Famous prototypical draconic creatures include the Mushishu, the ancient Mesopotamia, Apep, in Egypt mythology, Vertra in Rigveda, the Leviathan in the Hebrew Bible, Grangul in Pautu region in France, Patu region, Python, Ladian in Wyvern, Lilian, Larnan, Hydra in Greek mythology, Jormungandr Njörhurg, and Fifnir in Norse mythology, and the dragon from Beowulf. Oh, an old English epic poem in the tradition of Germanic heroic legend consisting of over 3,100 alternative lines. Damn. The popular Western image of a dragon is based on a confliction of earlier dragons from different traditions and of inaccurate scribal drawings of snakes. In Western cultures, dragons are portrayed as monsters to be tamed or overcome, usually by saints. Oh shit. As in the popular legend of Saint George and the Dragon. Tales of St. George taming and slaying a dragon that demanded human sacrifice. They are often said to have ravenous appetites and live in caves where they hoard treasure. These dragons appear frequently in Western fantasy literature, including The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, the Harry Potter series of J.K. Rowling, and The Song of Ice and Fire and George R.R. Martin. But those are just stories. The word dragon has also come to be applied in the Chinese lung, traditional simplified, Japanese simplified, long. Require nourishment. Yes. Again, the word dragon has come to be applied to the Chinese long, which are associated with good fortune and thought to have power over rain. Dragons and their associates with rain or the source of the Chinese customs of dragon dancing and dragon boat racing. Many East Asian deities and demigods have dragons as their personal amounts or companions. Dragons were also identified with the Emperor of China, who, during later Chinese imperial history, was the only one permitted to have dragons in his house, clothing, or personal articles. Wow. My dude just took over the brand. Commonalities between dragon traits are often a hybridization of avian, feline, and reptilian features. It may include snake-like features, reptilian scaly skin, forearm legs with 3 or 4 toes on each side, spinal nodes running down the back, a tail, and a serrated jaw with rows of teeth. Several modern scholars believe huge extinct or migrating crocodiles bear the closest resemblances, especially when encountered in forests or swampy areas, and are most likely the template of modern dragon imagery. All right. So we do have a lot to go by here. If anything, let's see here. Draconic creatures appear in virtually all cultures around the globe. Nonetheless, scholars dispute where the idea of dragon originates from, and a wide variety of hypotheses have been proposed. In his book, An Instinct for Dragons, anthropologist David E. Jones suggests hypothesis that humans, like monkeys, have inherited instinctive reactions to snake, large cats, and birds of prey. He cites a study which found that approximately 39 people in 100 are afraid of snakes, and notes that the fear of snakes is especially prominent in children, even in areas where snakes are rare. The earliest attest dragons all resemble snakes and have snake-like attributes. Jones therefore concludes that dragons appear in nearly all cultures because humans have an innate fear of snakes and other animals that were major predators of human primates' ancestors. Dragons are usually said to reside in dank caves, deep pools, wild mountain reaches, sea bottoms, haunted forests, all places which would have been fought with danger for early human ancestors. In her book, The First Fossil Hunter, Dinosaurs, Mammoths, and Myths in Greek and Roman Times, Adrian Mayer argues that some stories of dragons may have been inspired by ancient discoveries of fossils belonging to the dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. She argues that dragon lore of northern India may have been inspired by observation of oversized, extraordinary bones in the fossil beds of the Siwalik Hills below the Himalayas, and that ancient Greek artistic depiction of the monster of Troy. Ooh, that looks like a cute doggy. Pet the doggy. And those cheeks. And those arms. Goodness. And that ancient Greek artist depictions of the monster of Troy may have been influenced by fossils of the Smitherium, an extinct species of giraffe whose fossils are common in the Mediterranean region. In China, a region where fossils of large prehistoric animals are common, these remains are frequently identified as dragon bones and are commonly used in Chinese traditional medicine. Mayer, however, is careful to point out that not all stories of dragons and giants are inspired by fossils. No, and notes that Scandinavian has many stories of dragons and sea monsters, but has long been considered barren of fossils. In one of her later books, she states that many dragon images around the world has been based on folk knowledge or exaggerations of living reptiles, such as the Komodo dragon, the Gila monsters, iguanas, alligators, or, in California, alligator lizards. Robert Blust, in The Origin of Dragons, argues that, like many other creatures of traditional cultures, dragons are largely explicable as products of Well, sorry, had a brain fart there. Robert Blust, in The Origin of Dragons, argues that, like many other creations of traditional cultures, dragons are largely largely explicable as products of a convergence of rational pre-scientific speculation about the world of events. In this case, the event is the natural mechanism governing rainfall and drought, with particular attention paid to the phenomena of the rainbow. Right. Well then, let's see what the world has to offer about their mythology into it. For now, I'd say let's look in separate articles on the specifics of, well, the origins of it. I wouldn't mind if you wouldn't. Dragon mythology in Africa. Oh, a dragon fandom, I see. I agree. Alright, well then. Dragon fandom. African dragons are one of the types of dragons that are not as well known as the European dragon or the Oriental dragon. In fact, most of these dragons are not even recognized or thought of like dragons. Most African dragons are more like serpents or giant snakes, sometimes possessing only 2 legs, if any at all. These serpent-like dragons were seen several times throughout African culture, including folklore, religion, mythology, and tribal stories. These dragon stories were found in tribes, cities, and towns all over Africa, including Egypt. The Dahomey of West Africa Bal, the world was created by Nanu Baluku. Their interpretation of God, Nanu Baluku created himself a companion named Ido Huedo. Ido Huedo was a rainbow serpent or dragon. It was said that the dragon's droppings made mountains. Damn! It was a big shit. And also helped to nourish the plants of the earth. It was also said that dragons' withering created rivers and valleys. Although the Africans and Egyptians lived lives throughout the Africans and Egyptians' lives, I mean, it's just Africans, but whatever. They were told of dragons or ancient Egyptian Egypts. They gave thanks and praise to Ra for successfully bringing the sun back to the sky after fighting the Apep, a serpent-like dragon god that struggled to take the life of Ra and rule the Egyptian gods. There are many stories like this. The Africans are consistently reminded about the monstrous creature. It is also said that the dragon Edo Huedo will destroy the world that it has created. Nice. We shall add this to the notes. Let's see here. Right now, currently, I am pulling out the notes of which we are to be using, student. You say students if you're actually able to use. Nope. Lol. Hold up now. I can actually type it in right. So, for the night, for the actual night bot, thank you. If you actually click on this wonderful here document, you shall be taken. Close that window. You shall be taken to here, which covers all the past references and everything that we have saved for. Now I must add in our newest category, dragons, and place our article. Let's see, I wonder if there's... Ooh, Reddit. Yeah, let's all right. So, seeing that we have some dragons of African mythos, we got a big chunk here. Let's see if we can just find the similarities. I don't want to stick to a dragon more similar to those found in... Really depends on your definition of dragon. If you mean the European monster that is basically a lizard or serpent with 4 legs, wings, fire-breathing ability, then no, not really. That is a European phenomenon to the best of my knowledge. However, if you mean dragon in the sense of mythological monster, serpent-like creature with supernatural powers, then those are pretty universal. The Nagas of Indian legend on the Iroquois belief in the horned serpent attested this, but Africa also has its share of mythical serpent monsters. According to Giants, Monsters, and Dragons, an Encyclopedia of Folklore, Legends, and Myth by Carol Rose, a research member of the University of Kent and lecturer of the Canterbury College in England. The traditional belief system of the West African Dahomey people contains Edo Huedo, the Rainbow Serpent, a cosmic snake who assists the creation of the earth by transporting the god Mawu through the cosmos. It fed on iron to sustain itself, and secreted excrement became the mountains. After the creation of the earth, the cosmic serpent was instructed by Mawu to become its support and allow it to rest upon its back. The oceans were created to cool Aido Huedo's body when the heat generated by the endeavor became too much, but his occasional withering and discomfort produced earthquakes. When the iron under the sea, the cosmic serpent's food source is depleted, the serpent will consume its own tail, and the earth will lose its support and collapse. According to Rose, other rainbow serpents named Da in the legends of the fawn people of Dahomey, and Ashumar in the legends of Yoruba, the people of Nigeria. The peoples of the Congo have their own rainbow serpent. However, he is malevolent being who resides in the lakes and rivers where his reflection may be seen in the waterfalls. Well, there's one here. You are students, and we're gonna, if you want to dive more into what that person has to offer, please go check it out. That looked amazing on the actual parts of that. Now, what is... Ah, yes. Yeah, let's go East 8. Is Holy shit, damn. Is there only China? Hold up. All right. Ah, stop it. Long Chinese mythology. Long Chinese for dragon. Weidganus romanticization. Long. In the Chinese mythos, a type of majestic. There we go. In Chinese mythology, a type of majestic beast that dwells in the rivers and lakes. The rivers, lakes, and oceans, and roams the skies. Originally in rain divinity, the Chinese dragon, unlike its malevolent European counterpart, is associated with heavenly beneficence and fecundity. What? Sorry, what did you just call me? The ability to produce an abundance of offspring and new growth, fertility. Oh, fecundity.
Fecundity.
Fecundity. Fecundity. We're feckin'.
Fecundity.
Fecundity. Cool. Huh, you learn more. Beneficence and fecundity. Feckin'. Rain rituals as early as the 16th century BCE involved a dragon image animated by a procession of dancers. Similar dances are still practiced in traditional Chinese communities to secure good fortune. Ancient Chinese cosmogonous. Hold on, what? I want to make sure I'm saying that right. Cosmogonous. That's gotta be it, right? Cosmogonous. I'm gonna go along with that. Ancient Chinese cosmogonous defined 4 types of dragons. The celestial dragon, Tianlong, who guards the heavenly dwellings of the gods. The dragon of hidden treasure, Fusang Long. The earth dragon, Dilong, who controls the waterways. And the spiritual dragon, Shenlong, who controls the rain and winds. In popular belief, only the latter two significance, they were transformed into dragon kings, Long Wang. Wow. Gods who lived in 4 oceans, delivered rain, and protected seafarers. Generally depicted as 4-legged animal with a scaled snake-like body, horns, claws, and large demonic eyes. The Long, considered the king of the animals, and his image was appropriated by Chinese emperors as a sacred symbol of imperial power. God damn. Mythology in Korea. What is this? Oh, it's a whole thing. Oh, that's cool. What? Becoming a dragon. Oh, that might be had to be a process on. Dragon hybrids from Greek mythology. Dragons of Central Europe. Dragons of Mediterranean, Dragon of Balkans, Africa Part 1. Holy shit. Guys, please. We're gonna link this person in. I'm gonna link them in the chat too. We might have to dive into a little bit of what this person has to say for day 2. Because this sounds dope as hell. Let's see here. Korean dragon. Oh, it's pretty. Korean dragons are influenced and are similar in appearance to Chinese dragons. They are benevolent. They are benevolent beings that are. Stop. Stop that. Stop. Go away. Chufly, don't bother me. And beings that are related to water and farming. They would often be said to be the bringers of rainy season. This is why in Korea the residents Duck2, welcome. This is why Korea and the residents of dragons is said to be in waterways or oceans. Yes, the cloak is for, well, to get in preparation. You see, we're learning about dragons. And our final day, our final class on the mythos of mythological creatures, we might as well dive into the game that involves mythological creatures. And that would be D&D. Should be a lot of fun. We're gonna be trying it out Thursday. Got a couple people ready to go. We're gonna run a quick one shot. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But back to it. The Korean dragon differs from the Chinese in appearance in that it has a long beard and is shown carrying an orb known as the Yeoju. Only 4-toed or more. Dragons could wield this orb that was said to have the ability to omnipotence and creation. Omnipotent. What the fuck does omnipotence mean? What? The quality of having unlimited or very great power. Oh, like me. Ha 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 ha. Now, Korean dragons were once said to be emugi, or lesser dragons that resembled serpents. There are several different versions of how emugi become dragons. Once said it would take 1,000 years for them to become a dragon, while another says they must catch a Yuiju falling from the sky. Look at that stash. It's almost like mine. Ah, yes, Japan. Now, students, the reason why I'm not really going too much into, well, the wiki dive is just because, you know, I want to change things up. I know Wikipedia is going to give it to us, but what are the independents giving us? What are these little things? You know, we have nice little pictures. We got everything about this stuff. Let's dive into this. So, ghosts, demons, and spirits are more popular creatures often associated with Japanese mythology. But are far from being the only beings present. A lesser known entity is the Japanese dragon, which usually lives in water, shapeshifts into a man, and, if not, a beautiful woman. Although dragons may be iconic mythical creatures as well, not a lot of people are aware of their roles in Japanese classic legends. A common misconception when it comes to dragons is that all of them are exactly the same throughout Asia. The statement may be true to some extent, but essentially each country has its own kind of dragon. An overview of Japanese mythology and Japanese dragons. Japanese mythology makes use of Shinto, Buddhist, and folklore beliefs for its creation story and succeeding legends. Upon the creation of the universe, it is believed that several deities came into existence as well and were collectively referred to as Kotoamuzukami. After heaven and earth were formed, 7 generations of gods, individually known as Kaimi, emerged and were regarded as the Kami Yonanayo, or the Age of Gods 7 generation. According to Japanese creation myth, the Kimi no Nanyo consisted of 12 gods, of which 2 served as the initial individual kaimis known as Hitorigami, while the other 10 emerged as male-female pairs, either siblings or married couples. A unicorn dragon dog, you say? Let's check this out. Ooh. Ooh. Hot diggity fuck damn. What the hell is this? Alright, we covered a little bit of the Chinese mythos, so this is part of it. Nice, thank you, Duck 2. Let's see what we got here. The Qilin, or Kirin, is a mythological hooved chimerical creature known in Chinese mythology and other East Asian culture sphere, said to appear with the imminent arrival or passing of a sage or illustration ruler. Qilin is specific type of the Lin mythological family of one-horned beast. Oh, the Qilin. Is it a dragon? Has unicorns. Oh wow, look at that. It's in China, Korea, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam. Huh. Well, we might have to save that. I'm gonna save that as a once we do it, once we end up actually covering unicorns, then. I'm gonna have to. Thank you, Duck 2. topic. Unicorn. All right. So a lot of these gods end up becoming siblings or married couples. Okay. From these deities, many other gods and goddesses came into being along with various creatures that served as their guardians, messengers, warriors, and enemies. Japanese dragons were unique in the sense that they served as water gods that ruled the ocean, fought with other gods, shapeshifted into humans, or vice versa. They were also believed to signify wisdom, success, and strength. Huh. All right. For sound. Oh, Vietnam. Check it out. All right. Oh, this is dope. I wish you can like remove this kind of stuff. Like, oh, you kind of can. All right. Let's see how. Oh, nice. Sweet. I can do it. The Vietnamese Dragon. Oh, it's the music. The Vietnamese Dragon. Legend, history, and geography. Dragon has been the legendary animal of oriented countries. Since the end of the Second World War, with the emergence of the international scene of East Asia, the media have made more and more frequent use of the dragon image in reference to China and countries under the past influences of Chinese culture. But while all those countries have in common the immemorial myth of the dragon, none of them have gone so far as to claim as the Vietnamese do. Vietnamese dragon as their ancestor, and to give its capital the name of this mythical animal. Oh. The perennial. The fuck? All right, let's see here.
Perennial.
Perennial, yeah, I was right. Lasting or existing for a long or apparently infinite time. Perennial. The perennial character of the Vietnamese dragon is a fit illustration of the ideas put forward by the American mythologist Joseph Campbell in Power of the Myth. Power of the Myth, he argues that the myth is not dead in modern life, and that myths are clues to our deepest spiritual potential. Several Vietnamese myths, born as early as the Bronze Age, first millennial BC, in the Red River Basin, marked the formation of the Viet culture and national identity before the impact of the Chinese culture. The ancestral dragon, the demigod of Gyeong, victor over northern invaders, the mountain god defending the people against the floods of the Red River. Over the last 3 millennia, those persisting myths have consistently inspired history. This is a dope painting. I love this. I love all of this. My dude's like, you cannot come here. We're closed. These kids could like give a shit. It's like 2 parents fighting. Just like this kid just doesn't give a shit. Vietnamese Dragon legend. Kong Rong Shu Tin. No, Kong Rong Chao Tin. Why the Viet have always called themselves Kong Rong Chao Tin, children of the dragon in the fairy? This legend will be answered. The long, long ago there lived in Linh Nam, country south of the mountain range on the border, ancient Vietnam, a magician king called King Dong Vao, who could walk on water as well as on terra firma. One day, in the course of a pleasure trip on a lake, he met Long Nu, the Dragon Maiden, the daughter of the Long Vong, Dragon King of the Sea, and married her. From their union was born a Herculean son who later mounted the throne. Hell no. Later mounted the throne with the name Lac Long Quan, later becoming the Dragon King of Lac Viet, an ancient name of Vietnam. If you want to learn more about the legend of this, go ahead and go check it out in the notes. I think I missed the Japanese, did I? Let me go ahead and grab that. Oh wow, what? Only got that much? Oh wow, very, huh. All right. Now, Mesopotamian. Let's see what you got for your dragon. Of dragons as part of mankind's history. Nah, is there a little bit more? I wanna check out a little bit more here. Man, Breaktinak is on it. Tiamat. Huh. Hey, Duck 2, you have yourself a good one. Here we go. It just goes right as the goddess associated with premortal chaos. Mother goddess from chaos to creation. Let's see here. All right. What was that? Tiamat is an ambiguous deity who played an important role in the creation myth of ancient Mesopotamia. She was their personification of the primordial sea, from which the first generation of gods were born. Eventually, Tiamat defeated by Murdoch, the patron deity of Babylon. Traditionally, Tiamat is thought to have taken on the form of a dragon. Though there is no image dating to Mesopotamia times which has been identified beyond a doubt as depicting this goddess. The main myth featuring Tiamat is the Enumas Elis, the Babylonian creature myth. In this myth, Tiamat is a somewhat ambiguous character, as she is first depicted as a positive, mother-like figure, though later in the myth, she is transformed into the antagonist. Okay, I guess. Regarding the benevolent characters throughout the ancient times, poetry. Yeah, alright. Levents. The Levents. That is a crazy artwork. And the Ugaritic? Just Mesopotamia, okay. Levant. What do you have here? Dragons and mythology. Now you see, students, this is the part where, of course, if you try to derive off of the main subject, you get a little bit punished. But I say we carry on. Fuck it. Was an ancient port city in northern Syria. In the Ugaritic Balcycle, the sea dragon Latanu is described as the twisted serpent, the powerful one with the 7 heads. In the KTU 1.5, Latanu is slain, the storm god Baal. But in K2 1.3, I guess they had like a patch, probably. He instead slain by the virgin warrior goddess Anet. In the book of Psalms, the sea dragon Leviathan, whose name is a cognate of Latanu, is slain by Yahweh, otherwise known as fucking Jesus, I think. The national god of kingdoms of Israel and Judah, as part of the creation of the world. In Isaiah 27:1, Yahweh's destruction of the Leviathan is foretold as part of Yahweh's impending overhaul of the universal order. On the day that Yahweh shall punish with this sharp, great, and strong sword, Leviathan the fleeing serpent, Leviathan the twisting serpent, he will slay the dragon that is in the sea. Job 4:1-34 contains a detailed description of the Leviathan, who is described as being so powerful that only Yahweh can overcome it. Job 41:19-21 states that the Leviathan exhales fire and smoke, making its identification as mythical dragon clearly apparent. In some sort of the Old Testament, the Leviathan is historicized as a symbol of the nations that stand against Yahweh. Rahab, a synonym for Leviathan, is used in several biblical passages in reference to Egypt. Isaiah 30-7 declares, "For Egypt's help is worthless and empty. Therefore I have called her the silenced Rahab." Similar, Psalms 87:3 reads, "I reckon Rahab and Babylon as those that know me." In Ezekiel 29:3-5 and Ezekiel 32:2-8, a pharaoh of Egypt is described as a dragon. And the story of Bel and the dragon, from the apocryphal addition to Daniel, the prophet Daniel sees a dragon being worshipped by the Babylonians. Daniel makes catches of pitch, fat, and hair. The dragon eats them and bursts open. Well then. Let's go right ahead. All right. That's quite all right, Mr. Positive. We are just now reaching European Age dragons. Within Europe, starting with the Proto-Indo-European. Further information, Sea Serpent. The story of a hero slaying a giant serpent occurs. Shit. Okay. Saying a giant serpent occurs in nearly every Indo-European mythology. In most stories, the hero is some kind of thunder god. In nearly every iteration of the story, the serpent is either multi-headed or multiple in some other way. Furthermore, in nearly every story, man, this is just talking shit about Proto-Indo-European. Just fucking every story, there's multiple heads. Then you got multiple fucking thunder god dudes coming in. Bruce Lincoln has proposed that Proto-Indo-European dragon-slaying myths are just not creative. Can be reconstructed as follows. First, holy shit. First, the sky god give cattle to a man named Trados III. Then, who is so named because he is the third man on Earth. But a three-headed serpent named... what? Niguai steals them. She just pursues the serpent and accompanied by the Henir. Oh boy, that's a lot. Whose name means man. Together, the two heroes slay the serpent and rescue yada 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 yada. They get their cows back. But for ancient Greek and Roman, the ancient Greek and Roman word usually translated as dragon, drakon, could also mean snake. But it usually refers to the kind of giant serpent that either possesses supernatural characteristics or is otherwise controlled by supernatural powers. The first mention of a dragon in ancient Greek literature occurred in the Iliad, which Agamemnon is described as having a blue dragon motif on his sword belt and an emblem of a three-headed dragon on his breastplate. In line 820 and 880 of the Theogony, a Greek poem written in 17th century BC by Boeotian poet Hesiod, the Greek god Zeus battles the monster Typhon, who has 100 serpent heads that breathe fire and make many frightening animals noises. The Zeus scorches all of the Titans' heads with his lightning bolts and then hurls the Typhon into Tartarus. In the Homeric hymn to Apollo, the god Apollo uses his poison arrows to slay the serpent Python, who has been causing the death and pestilence in the area around Delphi. Apollo then sets up his shrine there. The Roman poet Virgil, in his poem Collects lines 136 to 201, describes a shepherd having a fight with a big constricting snake. Calls it serpents and also Draco, showing that in this time the two words were probably interchangeable. Hesidio also mentions that hero Hercules slew the Larnan Hydra, a multiple-headed serpent which dwelt in the swamp of Lerna. The name Hydra means water snake in Greek, according to the Bibliotheca of Pseudos Apollodorus. The slaying of the Hydra was the second of the 12 labor of Hercules. Accounts disagree on which weapon Hercules, right? Used to slay the Hydra. But by the end of the 6th century BC, it was agreed that the clubbed or several heads needed to be cauterized to prevent them from growing back. Hercules was aided in this task by his nephew Lolus. During the battle, a giant crab crawled out of the marsh and pinched Hercules' foot, and he crushed it under his heel. Hera placed the crab in the sky as the constellation Cancer. One of Hydra's heads was immortal, so Hercules buried it under the heavy rock after cutting it off. For his 11th labor, Hercules most procured a golden apple from the tree in the garden of Hesperides, which is guarded by an enormous serpent that never sleeps, which Pseudo Apollodorus calls Ladon. In earlier depiction, Ladon is often shown with many heads. Man, there's a lot of multi-headed motherfuckers in this shit. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna finish it off on that story. We're gonna dive deeper down. That's just fucking a lot. This describes Ladon as having been shot full of poison arrows dipped in blood of the Hydra. Let's go into post-classical Germanic. In the Old Norse poem Germisilmal, in the poetic Edda, the dragon Norhurgu is described as gnawing on the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree. In Norse mythology, Jorge Mengerjin is a giant serpent that encircles the entire realm of the Moigaro in the sea around it. According to the Gifalgening from the Prosa Edda, written by the 14th century Icelandic mythographer Snorri Sturluson. Look at that. The Norse god of thunder once went on a boat with the giant Hymnir to the outer sea and fished for Jormangen, using an ox head as bait. Thor caught the serpent, and after pulling its head out of the water, smashed it with his hammer, Mjolnir. Snorri states that the blow was not fatal, and the man say that he struck its head off onto the seabed. But I think the truth, was not fatal. But I think the truth to tell you is that Mythical serpent still lives and lies in the surrounding sea. Shit. Towards the Old English epic poem Beowulf, a slave steals a cup from the hoard of a sleeping dragon, causing the dragon to wake up and go on a rampage, destruction across the countryside. The eponymous hero of the poem insists of confronting the dragon alone, even though he is of advanced age. But Wiglaf, the youngest of the 12 warriors Beowulf has brought with him, insists on accompanying his king into the battle. Beowulf's soul shattered during the fight and his mortality wounded. And he is mortally wounded. But Wiglaf comes to his rescue and helps him slay the dragon. Beowulf dies and tells Wiglaf that the dragon's treasure must be buried rather than shared with the cowardly warriors who did not come to the aid of their king. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest though. Like, I'm straight up taking that shit. Like, fucking joink. Like, hell no. Hell yeah, I'm gonna be taking this shit. Are you kidding me? The fuck? Now, please, you must bury the treasure so these cowardly warriors don't reap the benefits. Sure. Sure. Radio. Fucking psych. Okay. Okay. Sorry, back to it. Post-classical Western. The modern Western image of a dragon developed in Western Europe during the Middle Ages through the combination of snake-like dragons of classical Greco-Roman literature. References to Near Eastern European dragons preserved in the Bible and the West and Western European folk traditions. The period between the 11th and 13th century represents the height of the European interest in dragons as living creatures. The 12th century Welsh monk and Geoffrey of Monmouth recounts the famous legend in his Historia Regum Britannia, in which the child prophet Merlin witnesses the Romano-Celtic warlord Vortigern, attempt to build a tower on Mount Snowdon to keep safe. These motherfuckers with their words. Holy shit, I'm about to break my fucking jaw with this. To keep safe from the Anglo-Saxons. Oh, actually, no. But the tower keeps being allowed into the ground. Merlin informs Vortigern that underneath the foundation he has built is a pool with 2 dragons sleeping in it. Vortigern orders for the pool to be drained and exposing a red and white dragon. White dragon. Oh wow, yeah, there it is. Who immediately begin fighting. Merlin delivers a prophecy that the white dragon will triumphant over the red, symbolizing England's conquest of Wales, but declares that the red dragon will eventually return and defeat the white one. This story remains popular throughout the 15th century. In Albanian mythology and folklore, Stithil, Ijurb, Balul, Baler, Irshaha, and Idhaja, Crusidra are mythological figures describing a serpent dragon. It is believed that Bola, the water, and Chthonic, demonic serpent, undergoes metamorphism, passing through 4 distinct phases of its lives, many years without being seen by a human. The Bolar and Hirshaja are the intermediate stages, while the Crusidra is the ultimate phase. My viral form! Described as a huge multi-headed fire-spitting female serpent which catches trout. Storms. Oh, catches. What the fuck? Described as a huge multi-headed fire-spitting female serpent which causes drought, storms, flooding, earthquakes, and other natural disasters against mankind. She is usually fought and defeated by a Rangu, semi-human winged divine figure in Albanian mythology and folklore. Associated with weather and storms, the Drangu is born with the cowl and 2 or sometimes 4 wings under the arms. Yeah. In Slavic mythology, the words sme, sme, and smaj, and smaj, are used to describe dragon. These words are masculine forms of Slavic word for snake, which are normally feminine, like Russia, smea. In Romanian, there is similar figure derived from Slavic dragon and named Zmu. Exclusively in Polish and Belarusian folklore, as well as in other Slavic folklores, a dragon is also called Rasli Kevsmok Umak Smok in South Slavic folklore. The same thing is also called Lemya. Although quite similar to other European dragons, the Slavic dragons have their peculiarities. Alright. In Russia, Ukrainian folklore is a dragon with 3 heads, each one bearing the twin goat-like horns. He is said to have breathed fire and smelled of sulfur. It was believed that the eclipse were caused by the Gornish temporarily swallowing the sun. According to one legend, the Gornish's uncle was the evil sorcerer Nemel Shellevek, who abducted the daughter of the Tsar, and imprisoned her in the castle in the Ural Mountains. Many knights tried to free her, but all of them were killed by the Gornish fire. Sorry, that fucking music was epic as fuck. I thought I was gonna get sued because it sounded like a lot of like movies. Holy shit, sorry. Alrighty. It was believed the eclipse, according to one legend. Jake had a cake. Long time no see. How's it going? We're currently going over we're currently going over dragons right now. We covered a lot over Eastern Asian, or a lot of the right now we're hitting North Asia on how they're handling dragons. And currently at the end of this week, because right now we're in the middle of the Mythical May. We are, what's it? Mythical May, we're on our last week, and our last subject is going to be dragons. Finishing off here, we're discussing about Gornish, who is uncle of the evil sorcerer Nemal Shalak. Many knights tried to free her, but all of them were killed by Gornish's fire. Then a palace guard in Moscow named Ivan Zarevic, look at that beautiful art, overheard the two crows talking about the princess. He went to the Tsar, who gave him a magic sword and snuck into the castle. When Shelovek attacked Ivan in the form of a giant, his sword flew from Ivan's hand unbidden and killed him. Then the sword cut off all three of Gornish's heads at once. Ivan brought the princess back to the Tsar, who declared Ivan a noble man and allowed him to marry the princess. Huzzah! Right. A popular Polish folktale is the legend of the Walwell Dragon, which is the first record in the Chronica Polonemarum of Winsety Kudlebek, written between 1190 and 1208, the good years, some would say. According to Kaldebek, the dragon appeared during the reign of King Rakus and demanded to be fed and fixed a number of cattle every week. The villagers failed to provide enough cattle. The dragon would eat the same number of villagers as the number of cattle they failed to provide. Rakus ordered his son to slay the dragon. Since they could not slay it by hand, they tricked the dragon into eating calf skins filled with burning sulfur. Once the dragon was dead, the younger brother attacked and murdered his older brother and returned home to claim all the glory for himself. That motherfucker! Oh! Telling his daddy that his brother had died fighting the dragon. The younger brother became king, and after his father died, but his secret was eventually revealed, and he was banished. Thank you. In the 5th century, Jean Glucius rewrote the story so that the king Crocus himself was the one who slew the dragon. Yeah, just fuck both the brothers. Like, Jesus. Another version of the story told that instead was by Mercine Belsky. Instead has the clever shoemaker Scoopy come up with the idea of slaying the dragon. And the Bielski's version is now the most popular. There you are. It's all about the one who is finally alive to change the story of the dragon. I mean, you know, it's better just to have the shoemaker than just a fucked up family trying to deal with the family problems of killing brothers and stuff like that. You know, just whatever. Yeah. In modern depictions, dragons and dragon motives are featured in many works of modern literature, particularly within the fantasy genre. As early as the 18th century, critical thinkers such as Denis Diderot, look at that fancy son of a bitch, was already asserting that too much literature has been published on the dragons. There are already in books all too many fabulous stories of dragons. Ah, Jake the Snake, you have been bamboozled. I believe that's what's the proper terminology. Ah. Now, one of the inset poems described as Jabberwock. Oh, look at that son of a bitch. A kind of dragon. Carol's illustrator John Antennas. I love that. A famous political cartoonist humorously showed the Jabberwock with the waistcoat buck teeth and myopic eyes as Victorian University lecturer, such as Carl himself. In the works of comedic children fantasy, dragons often fulfill the role of magic fairy tale helper. In such works, rather than being frightening as they're traditionally portrayed, dragons are instead represented as harmless, benevolent, and inferior to humans. What does thy ask? What is thy question? Jake hadeth a caketh. As I continue the story, I'll read your statement. Yeah, sometimes I telleth thee, ask thy question. Ask thy question. Who dost thou ask a question to? Let us see. Why did the yowl cross the old road this morn? You ask such a peculiar question, I must say, why did thee cross the road? The fuck was that? Hold up, what have my fucking music, bro? Twas because thine did not put on the wrong socket this morning, 'tis why. Ha 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 ha. You told it the joke wrong. You told me a joke, and dost thou pronounce joke wrong? Ye insult thy. I-ith toldeth wrongeth. There are some... Back to the lesson. Once... one of the most iconic modern dragons is Smaug of the J.R.R. Tolkien classic novel The Hobbit. Dragons also appear in the best-selling Harry Potter series, the Dragon novels by J.K. Rowling. Other prominent works depicting dragons include Annie McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern, Ursula Keely Gwen's Earth-Sea Cycle, George R.R. Martin's series of The Song, Ice and Fire, and Christopher Paulin's Inheritance Cycle. Sandra Martinez Schwab writes with few exceptions, including McCaffrey's Pern novels and the 2002 Reign of Fire. Dragons seem to fit more into medievalized setting of fantasy literature than into more technological world of science fiction. Indeed, they have been called the emblem of fantasy. The hero's fight against the dragon emphasizes celebrates his masculinity, whereas revisionist fantasies of dragons and dragon slaying often undermine traditional gender roles. In children's literature, the friendly dragon becomes a powerful ally in battling the child's fear. The popular role-playing game, the system Dungeons and Dragons, makes heavy use of dragons. After recent discoveries in paleontology, fictional dragons are sometimes represented with no front legs, but when on the ground, walking on their back feet and wrists of their rings, like Paratoris. Pterosaurs did, for example. So Game of Thrones wrong. This often raises debates among fans as whether or not they should be more specifically called wyvern, and whether as suspicious as dragons are perhaps an entirely different creature. What are you? Jake had a cake. I bid you farewell. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to spread the word of Professor Void. Hot diggity damn. All right. Well, students, we hit a lot about dragons today. For all those that are watching, I'm going to decide. These first few sessions, they might be a little less, but right. Well, we learned much about dragons today. A lot of people came and go. I'm glad to see you all popping in and out and saying hi. We had ourselves a lot of fun today. I hope you did too. I hope you learned something. Did not know much about, at least, like, the worldly types of dragons. They really very much, actually, a lot of difference. I did not know how much it actually holds on to serpents. Like, now I can actually see the correlation of how each of them hold on to each other, and the stories of them fighting each other is very amazing. I love the classical tales of people fighting off major dragons and stuff like that. Of course, the ones where dragons are friendly and stuff. I think it's very interesting on just like how about, like, what was it, like back like in certain areas where giraffes, like, or like, old ancient giraffes were somehow depictions of how you can see that almost as dragons and stuff like that. Egypt with having flying serpents, and within Africa having holding on to those parts. A whole cosmic entity and shitting mountains and stuff like that. It's just like, no, it's awesome. I think it's really cool, and just seeing a diverse array of dragons and serpents of this mythology. I think there's a lot that could be said here with this, and I can't wait to see us dive more into it. Dragons are cool as fuck. Dragons are cool as fuck, and I'm excited for us to dive more into it on just cultural significance of it and stuff like that. And people watching on YouTube, put in the comments on what questions do you have specifically for dragons and stuff like that. We dove in a lot into it. I want to see, would love to see you guys live on here so you actually can ask those genuine questions, because you can see on our last mermaid thing that we streamed last Wednesday, there was a few people in here and we started doing a bunch of research, having a lot of fun with it and stuff. A lot of things were very, very interesting with it. But no, we have a lot more. We have a lot more to dive into with dragons and more of the fun parts with it. And I'm excited for the session that I'm going to have, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But I hope you all can have a good time. But hey, that's about as much as we can scrounge around with dragons. I think that was a good like basic dive-ins. A lot of the world of like holding on to dragons and like seeing how that goes into it. It's very cool. It's very cool. A lot of them, what was it? Oh, not actually too many. Few were actually talking about like how some of them, because usually you always know, because at least again, like with through D&D terms, like, you know, a lot of multi-headed. Like usually you would just consider that with Hydra, but not just other cultures are just right into it. Like no, these are all multi-headed. Dragons were mainly multi-headed. A lot of stories, a lot of crazy stories of them. A lot of long and lengthy, like I think like Dungeons and Dragons kind of took hold of like what dragons usually would look like and stuff. But I think the diverse array of dragons is very, very interesting. And I think that's super, 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 super cool. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of the movie How to Train Your Dragon. That was a lot of that. I loved how diversified their dragons were. Which, like, I mean, they still had their basic components, but like, you know, they didn't really have like Chinese influence, Korean, and Japanese, the Mesopotamian, fucking Russia, and stuff. So it's very interesting on just like how it's all diving into it and how it's becoming more a part of it. A lot of biblical stuff too. Did not know, like, keep forgetting that like dragons are just heavily involved in just big ass serpents and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that's very cool. But hey y'all, we had ourselves a good time. I hope you all have a great time. Of course, that is just only the beginning. Of course, you know what's up. We have to cover the basics. We got to figure out what's going on. This is the part of the research that we're trying to figure out. Okay, this is the bits. These are the tidbits that we try to figure out, the foundational part. We want to try to do some actual learning around here. And this is what's up. What's up? But hey, I'm glad for all of you coming by and stopping by. I'm glad you for watching. Thank you so much. But no, thank you so much for being a part of it. I hope you enjoyed and stuff. And check out the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube and stuff. I think there's like, you know, if I'm going to throw out statistics, like barely half of people are actually diving into that. So please subscribe. If you really want to check it out live and you want to have more interaction with it, go ahead and check out my Twitch and stuff where you can see more interaction, get emojis. Check out the Discord. Had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, I think there's a lot to this, and like, and what was it? And if you have questions, again, put them in the comments, put them in the Discord. What questions would you have for next session? All right, and next session will be on Wednesday, 7 to 9. All right, I hope you all enjoy yourselves. We had a good session. I'm super excited for what we're gonna dive into, the little extras, the fun, the dark tales, and all that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun. But hey, my name is Professor Void, You guys have yourself a good one, and I will see you on Wednesday. All right? Later. Make sure stay afraid and to keep learning. All right? Hey, have a good one. Catch y'all later. Let's see here. We'll throw a host out. We'll raid somebody real quick. Oh, this is perfect. What was it? The one person I'm following, they're actually doing a Dungeons and Dragons. So, perfect. Hey, my name's Professor Void. You guys have yourself a good one. I'm gonna head on out. We're gonna raid this person's channel. We're gonna have ourselves a good time. You guys have a good one. All right? Love y'all. Later.